And what is going on YouTube? Just another game channel, bringing you just another video. So guys, here we are back in Destiny. We do a strike or two for you. I'm really tempted to start uploading Elite Dangerous, but honestly, 95% of the time I just like jump from system to system doing deliveries and stuff, especially when it's community goals, trying to get as much money as possible. I've got 40 million credits. I've got a ship that costs like 6.6 million, and I've probably spent 30 million on upgrading it. Which sounds crazy, but you really need to upgrade your ships, and obviously I've got lots of variables I can attach, so I've got extra cargo space stored away. At the moment, one of the community goals is killing pirates, so I've swapped one of my cargo slots out for a module repair unit that repairs any modules that get damaged and things like that. So yeah, obviously a bigger jump drive, better shields, military hull plating for armour and all that, shield boosters and all sorts of little things. But we're going to do some strikes. It's all solar burn stuff. So I'm going to take an Abaddon because I've not actually... Well, you know what I should do? Got one there. Right, I'm going to take this. I know it's solar burn, I'm going to use that for 30 kills because I've got a thing to do. Or what do you call it? A bounty. So I might as well use it. Also, what have we got? That's two Abaddons. I think I've got an Abaddon on another character. I do. So now I've got 3 or 4 of these. So there's one there, one there. Super advice, that's maxed out. Right, let's grab another Abaddon, and we'll upgrade that now with the old Bone Crusher. Not a fan of this LMG. Too fast and unstable for my likings. High impact though. High impact, high rate fire, but look at the stability, it's almost non-resistant. If you got like perfect balance and counterbalance, which I've just got on a different LMG, counterbalance and perfect balance, and it's an LMG that doesn't actually need it, but it's brilliant. It's brilliant that, yeah. So what we'll do is we'll upgrade this with that. I really want to do the strike. I really want to do the raids, guys. Please, somebody invite me to a raid. I really want to do Oryx and get all the armor set for each character because I love that armor. And I never got the full sets because Oryx back then was a pain in the arse and people used to just like quit after 6 hours of trying, you know. Even though I've done it, if you get the right team, I've done it in 5 minutes, you know, essentially. I've done alt raid bosses in a few minutes as long as I've had a team as capable as I have. Not saying that I'm amazing, but honestly, like during raids and during boss fights, at the end I die. If I die once out of 100 people's deaths, I might die once. It might be my fault we screwed up the boss fight in 6 or 8 hours. I might die once, honestly. And it's not saying that I'm infallible. I'm not. I'm particularly, you know, just a lot of practice on this game, so I think I'm pretty good at it. That's all. Nothing spectacular. Right, let's put. So we were gathering solar-based weapons. I've got. You know, to be honest, I've never liked this Rage Lighter, and everyone said it was the most powerful, and I've always said that the Dark Drinker was the most powerful by far, and the Dark Drinker is the most powerful. You know, you got those 5-6 spins you do with an R2 attack, and the amount of damage is actually quite a bit higher than the Rage Lighter. And I've never liked the Rage Lighter. I don't like the jagged blade look of it. I'm no particular fan of the move style, but I love the Young Wolf. I've got to say, the Young Wolf is my sort of thing, yo. See, I've got the full ornaments on the other one. But anyway, I always go for extra ammo. Or no, I always go for extra damage, but I should really go for extra ammo because, like, the extra damage is good, but if you get another like 5 strikes out or 2, is that not better than like 5 less strikes with more powerful ones? I don't know. I'd have to check out the damage profile. But I'm going to use a distant star because I'm not using this one. This one's full auto, which is nice. And I've got 12-inch mag, holy shit. Yeah, it's not a lot on full auto. But I've got ooh, it's going to put it up to 14, not worth it. Okay, I'm not going for the health one. I'm going for the triple tap because headshots put rounds back in the thing. I could need rounds back in the thing. So I've got pulse rifle reload. I'm going to wear the old. I love this raid armor. I really do like this raid armor. It's brilliant. I really think it's nice. It's nice, mate. It's real nice. I love that colour. I love this burnt marshmallow. The white is particularly nice, but the burgundy, oh my god. It's awesome to the mix. So solar burn, secondary weapons. I wanted to do some Prison of Elders, but it's melee bonus damage, and I'm not a fan of that, you know, running around just meleeing everything. It really gets old real quick when, you know. I do miss it. I do miss playing it. Well, there is something I want to talk about today, guys, and it's healthcare in America and how idiotic some American people are. And I'm sorry for anyone that's subscribed that's American. Chances are, if you subscribe to my channel, you're pretty open-minded, you're pretty progressive and sensible. You know, that my general viewpoints emphasise science and fact over fiction. I live in a modern age and want to live in a more modern age. Personally, I feel like I was born billions of years too soon. Although we have entered the 6th mass extinction. We've entered a 6th mass extinction, and you can't feel the effect. We're starting only just to feel the effects. But this is the only one caused by humans. We've had meteors, we've had super volcanoes, we've had meteors, we've had all sorts of stuff that has wiped species out. But non-human species are dying 1,000% faster than they naturally would because of us. Humankind, by concreting over habitats and expanding, has wiped out many hundreds, if not thousands of species, and we're doing it 1,000 times faster, 1,000% faster than is normal in nature.
Lord Saladin says you were indispensable.
Some people think that
Russia, Guardian.
Global warming isn't real. Can you believe that? This debate was solved by scientists 20 years ago. It is real. You just got to connect the dots. The US has had 11 weather events that are 1 in 1,000 years occurrence. They've had more in the last few years. Okay, they've had weather events that happen 1 every 1,000 years. They've had 11 of them in the last few years. Does that not say something, guys? Does that really not say something? I'm gonna die here. Oh, I didn't make it, shit. So yeah, we've got things like I do actually want to talk about medical care in a minute, but the reason I'm mentioning this now is you'll find out in a minute. So I'm going to use this because I know people are going to think I'm stupid because I've sold them, but you know, I need to, just temporarily. So I'm going to talk about the medical system in America in a moment, but you know, like, just in general, no offense to like, Americans are like, what, 58 or 60 on the world stage for education quality. They are below that with healthcare. Most modern countries have what Americans call single payer. Everyone's on it, everyone gets the same treatment, everyone pays a single rate, it's part of taxes or whatever. And everyone gets, you know, people that get a £2 million bill, will have to pay $200 the insurance. And Americans, a lot of Americans don't quite understand how insurance works. A lot of people get car insurance or home insurance or insurance on the bank. They don't realise that there's a lot of arguments. Like this one guy posted to this video that people are supporting Medicare for all. And this guy's like, no offence, but you know, do I really want to pay for kids born with cancer or diabetes or arthritis? Do I want to pay for people with pre-existing conditions? And why should healthy Americans pay for unhealthy Americans? And honestly, I left an essay trying to explain it to him. Like, first of all insurance works like that. Everybody pays in so that when somebody needs it, you know, everyone's payment covers them. Otherwise, there's never going to be enough money to cover like houses burning down or cars getting robbed or destroyed. Do you think if you pay an insurance for 3 months, you're covered for a new car if you've got the right coverage? If it gets stolen, do you think 3 months of payment is going to pay for a $40,000 car? No, of course not. That's why everyone pays in to this pot. The company makes some money off it, but this pot is also used to pay people that buy the insurance and need it. Yes, insurance companies do all sorts of policies to try and not pay, but they still have to pay out hundreds of millions every year. Maybe even more, you know, because people want insurance and they need it. So people don't realise that all insurance works like that, including Medicaid, single payer. That works no different than anything else you've been paying for the last 200-300 years. Since the concept of insurance and that type of process of payment, everyone pays in to a massive pot, and then a tiny bit of that pot's used when people who are paying in need it. Okay? That seems fair, that seems the only way to do it. Otherwise, you paying in £600 insurance and suddenly your house burns down and you need home insurance and you're like, oh, I need a new house. And the insurance company's like, well, you've got to pay £600 in, of course you can't have a new house. Or the fact that everyone's paid in, you might take 5 cents, you guys have cents, we have pennies, so you might take 5 cents or 50 cents per person. So you're going to begrudge someone to replace their house, and you think you're paying for it. No, you're paying 10 cents for it, 5 cents. There's hundreds of millions of people paying in. You pay nothing. You might pay less than $1. You'll pay less than 2 cents, for example, for a $2 million operation for somebody. All you pay is 2 cents out of your insurance. But guess what? You're paying for the insurance that covers you and everyone else, and everyone else is paying for the insurance that covers themselves and everyone else. So when you need it, my point was, when you need it, and you get a $5 million bill that you can't afford to pay, I was saying, this guy, you telling me you'd rather pay the whole $5 million rather than be on insurance? The American people just don't get it, and it's not their fault. They've been indoctrinated by this process of being a patriot, and they're going to know it. Like the US flag, it's used as a powerful symbol of freedom, free speech, and being a patriot. And they'll say, I've not been indoctrinated, I just love my country. Yes, but do you think people that top prices believe they've been indoctrinated? No, they believe in their cause just as equally as you believe in your flag and your country. Now, there are no other countries I can think of that push this idea of being a patriot like the American government. No country in the world views their flag and country as the Americans do, which is it's pride. You know, yeah, have pride in your country, brilliant, but it's dangerous. You know, you have the Patriot Act and all these laws that extended the ability to punish terrorists, which is fine. But guess what? A lot of people held without trial and so were innocent. You know, black sites, Syria, black sites, all this torture that goes on. But anyway, back to Medicare. So, secondly, one of the main points I put it out is that I said, well, Jesus, only an American could blame a child for being born with a chronic illness or something that needed treatment. Only an American could blame a child for being born with severe genetic disease that's painful. It needs, maybe it's not deadly, but it needs chronic treatment. Only an American could do that, and honestly, it's not a go at Americans. I know literally 99.9% of Americans I met are decent, believe it or not. I think that's probably because the people I befriend have a similar mindset to me. They're progressive, they're not conservative. People are going to say, yeah, well, conservatism is about holding your traditions. Yeah, that's fine, but guess what? Slavery was a big part of a lot of Western countries' traditions. We don't keep that anymore, because not all traditions are good, guys. There was a story recently that involved a 16-year-old boy. The family got accused of raping the 12-year-old daughter. So this council somewhere in, they had like Sharia law and that type of thing. I think it was the Philippines actually. I think it was a Muslim type caliphate, maybe something there. But the traditional, the isolated for the most part. You know, they're not exposed to a lot of modern ideas or processes. So this council of 50 people said, well, if their son raped your daughter, we'll give you permission to rape their 16-year-old daughter. So this old man went and raped a 16-year-old girl, and a lot of the council members watched. Now we know that's not about justice, is it? No, of course it's not. It's about these guys getting their socks off, doing something perverted. And there are, a lot of people's arguments and their arguments like, well, it's tradition. But guess what? Tradition is not always good. We used to own slaves. A lot of people used to own slaves. People used to flay people alive. People used to have fighting pits and become gladiators. They weren't by choice. They were slaves, and they were forced to fight and die, basically. And so guys, not all traditions are good. Okay, just try and hold that in your mind when you think about what I'm saying. So this guy blames these kids, blames these for being born, or anyone with pre-existing conditions. And I tried to explain, dude, a pre-existing condition has nothing to do with what you're born with. Yes, of course, that is part of it, but legally, a pre-existing condition is actually something that you have when you apply for healthcare. Okay, so I tried to explain. So let's say this guy, let's say you get fired from your job, yeah, or you get let go, whatever, and then all of a sudden you find out you've got cancer, but you've cancelled your health insurance because you can't afford it. So you've got no job anymore. Okay, right. So that happens. Then this guy gets a job, okay? This guy suddenly gets a job, and he gets a job again, and he goes to buy health insurance, and then he's discriminated against, and the system he wants won't let him get health insurance because he's got a pre-existing condition. He didn't have it before, but when he applied for his new healthcare, because he finally got a job, he had a pre-existing condition. Say he got cancer, suddenly he's got a pre-existing. I don't think these people realise. A lot of people don't realise how insurance works. You don't actually pay for your own insurance. You pay for everybody's, and they pay for yours. That's how it works. Otherwise, there would never ever be enough money to actually pay for things. There's never going to be enough money. Never work like that. So that was one part. And then his other issue was, well, why should healthy Americans pay for unhealthy Americans? And I couldn't believe what I'm hearing. And I'm like, it's as if this guy doesn't know how human biology works. There are millions of diseases, inflictions, viruses, car accidents, drunk idiots, gunshot wounds, murderers, all sorts of things that could cause you to become unhealthy. This guy must think he's Superman, and the only way he can get ill is from kryptonite. Honestly, the way he was speaking, he just assumed that he'd be healthy for the rest of his life, and that was mind-boggling. I don't think he realises that the human body doesn't adhere to your principles of paying and not paying health insurance. The human body gets sick whether you want it to or not. It's just how it works. So no reply all of a sudden. He didn't reply to this because I think finally I embarrassed him or got through to him. This is a viewpoint of a lot of people in America. It blows my mind. I don't think they realise how stuff works. Honestly, let's go. There's no way I begrudge a child healthcare because they were born with a genetic disease that's going to really cause problems. I mean, like, it's going to cause so many problems. It's not their fault, is it? No, of course not. Sorry, I got interrupted by there because it was us. I hope it's so that I died and actually destroyed everything. But anyway, yeah, this shit will blow my mind. So, no reply. I'm not surprised. When someone of moderate intelligence and uses the fact to actually let people know what the situation actually is, and it's not their fault for the most part. Yeah, there are some people that are dicks and mean and ignorant and idiot. When I say ignorant, I don't mean stupid. I mean uneducated. And don't get me wrong, there are massive superpowers, corporations, and political interests that pay massive amounts of money to tell you that there's nothing wrong. And this happened during the tobacco issues, when doctors finally found out after the tobacco companies knew for 40 years that smoking causes cancer and a shitload of about 300 other heart and lung-related diseases. The tobacco company knew and lied about it, okay? Now, when doctors finally put it all together, the tobacco company got PR firms and hired massive amounts of actors to put on doctor's coats and go on TV and tell you, no, there's nothing wrong, don't worry about it, it's just scare tactics and propaganda, it's all this stuff. That's not true, that is not true. Of course it's not true, we know now for a fact that smoking causes horrific diseases, but people still do, which is the power of peer suggestion, the weakness of human beings, and again, just a lot of social factors from these people. Even though we've known for like almost 100 years that smoking causes horrific diseases, causes horrible cancers, and all sorts of things. People still do it. Hundreds of millions of people, if not billions of people, still smoke, and will continue to smoke. Will start when they're younger, and it blows my mind how this actually happens. Honestly, I really don't know. Smoking should have stopped at our grandfather's generation because that's when they found out essentially. But it is interesting. This leads to I don't smoke marijuana myself because I'm not a smoker, but I know that in America a lot of people are put away in prison for that shit, and we know for a fact that there's been no overdoses. It's classed as a Schedule 1 drug, even though it's nothing. It's a herb. It's nothing like heroin or cocaine. It's absolutely not even close. And but there's just been a war on drugs to make money, and people are suffering for it. But now America, I think 5 states have legalized it for recreational, and even more for medical. And in the next 20 years, it'll be legal everywhere in America. I don't know about Britain. I don't think we'll ever legalize it. But I'll be honest, it's not a big deal over here. Yeah, I suppose you get arrested, but you probably won't get sent to jail. You probably pay a fine because the UK are more liberal and we're more advanced in our thinking, and I don't mean that the Americans are stupid.
The House
okay,
of Devils
technically
marked
that's
you as
true,
public
but
enemy
only by
number
one.
one after
No,
you trashed their
I
prime
saw a
server,
table of
Your
the
old
world
friend,
countries'
Sepix
average
Prime, is
IQ,
back. And
America are
better
below
than ever,
the
thanks to the devil splicers.
the
Siva.
recommended average, basically.
Zavala's not
Their
too happy
collective
about the
IQ
idea
and
of
average
the
IQ
splicers
of the
playing
American
Godmaker.
people is 99,
And I can't
when
blame
the sort of
So
mean
what
average
you're
is
saying
recommended
it's
to be
time
100.
we return to the scene of the crime.
So yeah,
I'm sure the Fallen will be happy to
we're
see
only
this.
at 100. The UK are only technically 1 point smarter, 1 IQ point smarter than American people. I find these interesting things online, and you know, I remember them because I do a lot of research into this stuff. I'm not sure why I do a lot of research into this stuff,
what to do.
but I do, and I just find it really interesting. So yeah, this guy, you know, just talking about not wanting to pay for helping people as if he's, you know, I bet he would change his mind if he gets hit by a car.
But I'm also
Oh, he's like,
tracking
A, suddenly he's
multiple
got a pre-existing condition if he applies for any type of healthcare, and B, he's not healthy anymore.
Well,
you get hit by a car, and they have to take your leg off. You know, it's just, there's not, I don't think, come on guys, you've got to realise that disease and injury does not it doesn't discriminate. Oh my god, I'm losing my words. Discriminate. I do apologise. Does not discriminate against. It doesn't. Disease and injury doesn't care if you're rich, wealthy, powerful. If you're gonna get AIDS because you're no protection, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get cancer because of genetic environments or people smoking around you, whatever, or you're smoking, whatever, polluted water, etc. Whatever, it's fine. But yeah, this guy's surprising. I'm not surprised. To be honest, I did say, look, I know you're probably going to come back and want to say something smart or argue against me, but the simple fact is I've used facts, common sense and knowledge to place my argument. And but human beings don't like to lose, but I had another kind of disagreement with somebody about, it was about a video where a woman got killed. Okay, an Australian, 40-year-oldish white woman, an Australian woman living in America, called the police because she suspected a rape was happening in an alleyway near her. So when the cops arrived, pulled up, she walked over to the cop car, and the officer in the passenger seat took out his gun and blew her away. His reason was, she startled me. I mean, cops in America, the worst trained. Don't get me wrong, there are some good cops, but their job is to protect and serve, and their job is to put their life on the line. They must know this. When they take the badge, when they pick up the badge, they must know this. But for some reason, they're not willing to do it anymore. They used to be, but not anymore. And it blows my mind. But yeah, it blew a woman away, and then these cops went at night time to serve a warrant on somebody, and then they killed him. And it looks like the cops are saying that he pulled a gun on him, and it wasn't until they told him to drop the gun, and he won't drop it, that they shot him. Now, the guy didn't have a gun on him. There were bullet holes through his door. Okay, so it looks like they shot him through the door, and the woman, his wife, and every neighbour cannot corroborate the cop's story. They only heard gunshots, they heard no commands, because they were woken by the commotion or came to look at what was happening. And there was no command, there was no gun, there was no command. And on top of all that, they got the wrong house. Well, I don't think cops realise when they go to serve a warrant, and it was nothing particularly serious, it was from a while ago, good domestic abuse complaint. I'm not saying that's not serious, of course domestic abuse is serious, but you understand it's not murder, rape, whatever. This guy wasn't a killer they went to serve, but they went to serve a warrant, they didn't go to serve an execution. Anyway, my point is, I made a comment about this, and the fact that cops have killed thousands, they've killed, these are stats that I've averaged up, because I can't remember the exact stats, and these were done by statistical research companies in the US, officially sanctioned by governments or private institutions that look at social research and social changes and look at all the statistics that affect society. So they're like, these are big companies that do massive long-term surveys and statistical research, and so the stats on average will go something like this. Because I said, look, I can't believe people don't want more gun control in America. They think that you think like a 3-day check is something to, oh my god, how dare you? guys, mentally ill people can buy guns without a check. It's easier for criminals to buy guns at the moment. Just a little extension on your check. I just don't understand, like, what's the big deal? And, you know, it blows my mind. So, my point was, well, I just don't understand the big deal about not having gun control, especially when you're getting civilians executed by police, unarmed civilians that have done absolutely nothing wrong. We're not threatening in any way, just because cops have become cowardly. You know, and again, it's not all cops, there are some good police officers out there, and I bet these police officers are those that have served and died, those that are now dead, or those that, I bet they're turning in the grave at what police officers currently are. I bet they are. And the good cops are probably like, oh god, you know, how can I better it? How can I change the situation? How can I help? You know, I bet there are cops out there that are just, and you know, this code of like protecting your fellow officer, bullshit. Bullshit. They've committed a crime. You fucking punish them like you punish everybody else. They don't get a free pass on execution of innocent people because the police officer. Are you fucking crazy? Imagine if imagine if the good law said that. I don't know. No, I get a free pass on not being executed because, you know, I'm wealthy. It's as good a reason as any. In fact, it carries more power than being a cop, you know. But cops are the worst gang in America right now. And I say gang, but they're not the worst organisation. You've got organisations like the CIA, the NHS, some real dirty fucking bastards that just manipulate, spy on their own governments, kidnap people, torture people, particularly without truth or any sort of a lot of the time without credible sources. And you know, it does it. Oh my god, America could have been, I mean, okay, you know, America played a massive part in the Second World War, but a lot of people don't realise that America actually stayed neutral for many, many years. They just refused to get in the fight. They saw, as long as they weren't hurt and they thought they could protect themselves, they did not interfere. Millions of people died while they were sat on the sideline, while entire, you know, tens of dozens of countries were being conquered and annexed by German people. Americans.
Guardian.
Had diplomatic meetings with the president, had diplomatic meetings with Hitler. There's video footage of it. Shaking hands and laughing, sitting having a cup of tea. While they know this guy is fucking destroying people's lives, executing Jewish people, everyone, soldiers, just, you know. So what has America become? You know, it was decent 80, 90 years ago, but it hasn't been decent since then. And, you know, not that there aren't decent people there. It's for some reason, even those that are in power that are doing the most horrible things. I can't believe they started out thinking, I want to get into government and be horrible. I can imagine that they wanted to start out and be decent, you know, but it's not the way these systems work. So many bad things have happened, so many lies have happened that they have to, honestly, they have to do bad shit to cover up the rest of the bad shit. So it's like it's an unending cycle. It really is an unending cycle of all the shit that's going off. It's like it's never going to end. It really does. And did these guys get past that? Well, I don't know those people. Yeah. That's a fast route. Oh, it's because I had the Oxo on that had precision kills that increase reload speed, so it's considerably faster. Easy to get precision kills also. These guys have already gone, not bad. So yeah, I know I'm having a rant at America. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not. You know, I actually wish the best for the people, and there are millions of people fighting to do the right thing. But because of government propaganda and just isolation and indoctrination, there are a lot of people that are just ignorant.
You know, in Siva we trust, and in Siva all things are
possible. A lot of the American viewpoints, some people's viewpoints are like
show them that their God
50,
is
60 years old. I mean, like really, really fucking old. Like, I mean, archaic,
perfected,
you know,
all his
and
glory.
For one of the leaders of the world, well, you know, because it's financially powerful and has a powerful military, it's considered a superpower. But in almost every other fact, like even though like, they've got a massive budget for science, did you know Britain actually produced more, better at science essentially? We produce per capita, we produce more scientific research papers showing all the research that's been done, publications that show like, you know, basically just advanced research things that we've achieved. And it's considerably higher than America per capita. So you look at like, you know what that means, don't you? Cheers. crazy. It really is crazy. I'm not having a go at me. Well, I'm having a go at these six leaders, I think, not as people. But there are these people, or tens of these people, that have really, really horrendous viewpoints, archaic viewpoints, that are just they're so far behind the rest of the world. A lot of Americans don't travel this because they think America is the world. I know they don't actually think that, but you know, psychologically or ideologically, that's what they think. And yeah, it's very damaging, believe it or not. I don't know why you wouldn't do that, but so, yeah, that's my rant. I know I said Medicare, whatever, but short and generally. Oh, why did that guy run behind me? Wow, guys, if you did not run behind me, you could have had that. You could have had it. It needed one more blast from that blaster. You rush forward and oh my god, guys, stop it. Stop being douches, please. Shit, why did they fucking help that? I'm gonna die here. Probably because I should yell at them to shoot loads of enemies. I'm having a rant at America. I'm not having a rant. There are tons of million people that are very decent and I do the right thing. It's a real struggle. They're behind many countries in many ways. Technologically, socially, a lot of social political issues that they're currently debating and have massive opposition against. Most countries solved years ago, decades ago. Yeah, it was crazy to me. Crazy. I should probably use this. It's amazing that it's extra damage for
to run this time.
The secondary weapons. So yeah, we're going to say the amount of damage for my heavy. And I had solar on both, so I know it's powerful, right? Whereas, you know, that it could match a boost on solar damage.
Sepix was this Blazer's next big
the
play.
secondary weapons.
Present a god for all the worship.
Shit, it's pretty powerful.
Then control the
Well,
flow
guys,
of ether.
guys, for those that are American subscribed, honestly, I'm not having a go. I really not. I know you people. I've talked to some of you. I've got a lot of friends that are American. For the most part, the country's made up of very decent people. But there are some people that are just tens of decades behind the times, and it actually causes a lot of damage for the American people. And you guys were once a phenomenal power in the world, and you are a power still, but not a good one. You've invaded more countries and been to war with more countries than all other countries combined in modern times. The only country to drop a nuclear bomb on people, you know, deny climate change. And just so you know, the amount of heat that is trapped daily in the atmosphere is the equivalent of dropping 400,000 Hiroshima level atomic weapons. That's how much heat we collect every single day. 400,000 nuclear bombs worth in the atmosphere. This is why I don't understand why a lot of people deny it. And so, for example, the hottest year ever recorded was this year, and the hottest year ever recorded before that was last year, and the hottest year recorded before that was the year before. Connect the dots. Every single year is the hottest year recorded, and that is because the planet is getting hotter because of climate change. Okay, we're seeing tropical diseases in places in America that they should never exist, but because the climate's warming, tropical conditions now existing in places in America that are causing tropical viruses that cause birth defects and all sorts of crazy things. These things only exist until recently in tropical conditions, but guess what? There are certain tropical conditions in parts of America because of climate change. The ice caps
Funny story for you.
are melting at a massive rate. There's a Manhattan-sized ice cap that is breaking away at the moment.
Didn't work.
From the Antarctica. A Manhattan-sized ice cap. It is unbelievable.
The core goes. Most of the
thing is, when you heat the atmosphere, a lot of that heat
sure
goes into the oceans because, well, there's more water on the planet, and then so there's extra moisture in the water, so the heat draws out the extra moisture into cloud systems, into rain systems. That's why there's all these torrential floods. That's why there's these outpours of rain that you just like. They're called rain bombs. They call them rain bombs in the States. Immense amounts of weather change, and people still deny it. Years ago, scientists predicted that what would happen if we carry on down this path, and guess what? Everything they predicted has come true 10, 20, 30 years later.
The Vanguard intercepted a
keep using double threat coins instead of heavy ammo. What else have we got, guys? One thing they predicted was that, you know, if the planet keeps heating, we keep progressing with this global warming, that the World Trade Center, the Ground Zero site is going to flood. And everyone was like, yeah. And was it a year ago or the year before? Guess what happened? Torrential flooding, and the Ground Zero site flooded. The scientists predicted that if we carry on with global warming and this continues as it is, the World Trade Center Ground Zero sites are going to flood. And everyone went, yeah. It was way inland, and guess what? It flooded. It flooded. It was on every single news channel in America. It flooded. The bizarre weather changes, all that shit. It all flooded. All changed. Nice. That's got extra everything. We should carry 9 anyway, do you? I can't remember. It's been a while. We shouldn't really be fighting these guys. We should be running past them. The solar burn's not on you. There we go. So yeah, there are some crazy ass things, like everything they predicted has happened. So this is why it blows my mind that politicians and
I have tracking on the bomb
people deny it.
They're the ones leading the assault on the power
scientific
cores.
evidence
Marking
is there.
the coordinates now.
I mean, you don't believe in climate change when the evidence is there. The weather is getting hotter every year, record-breaking heats, ice caps melting, torrential flooding, tropical weather conditions and diseases appearing in parts of the world that it never ever has ever. Hurricanes on record levels, 1 in 1,000 year weather events all happening within the last 10 years. You've had 11 of them in the last 3 years. I mean, it's insane, and people are like, no. Well, you all believe in God. You believe in God. You believe in a giant mystical being that created the universe and the world, and the world is only 6,000 years old. Well, actually, it's 4.7 billion years old. But yeah, okay. So, there's religious indoctrination, and I don't personally believe in God, or I understand that religion is very comforting to people, because human beings were afraid of nothing else more than we're afraid of the unknown, and death is the most terrifying thing of all. It really is the most fascinating, the most terrifying. So it's easy to believe in a God. Well, guess what? These are facts. We knew these to be facts because of religion. At one point, primitive human worshipped the sun and the moon. Okay, we knew for a fact that they were God and Goddess.
Watch out! They brought a tank to a gunfight.
We knew for a fact that the Earth was flat at one point. Then we knew for a fact that God created the Earth, and Earth was the centre of the universe. Not only is Earth not the centre of the universe, it's not even the centre of our galaxy. It's not even the centre of our solar system. Okay, so just point that out. So, we knew for the fact that the Earth was flat, we knew for the fact that the Earth was the centre of the solar system. So if there is a God, what you guys call, anyone that's religious calls God, could be a consciousness, a type of alien entity that is so powerful it could create a universe. Yes, what else would you call that but God? But it probably doesn't know he exists. You know, you know, out of the billions of out of the hundreds of trillions, if not millions of trillions of species that probably exist in all the galaxies. You know, let alone our galaxy alone. New telescopes are discovering Earth-like planets at a startling rate. And when I say Earth-like, I mean similar size, gravity, water, in the habitable zone, that sort of thing. Liquid water, anyway. But we now, 20%, estimated 20% of the star system have planets that are Earth-like, and that estimate is wildly beyond, like, trillions and trillions of planets that are Earth-like. And guess what? We're starting to discover that we don't need Earth-like planets. We don't need them to be in the habitable zone, because we now know that some of the moons of Jupiter and Saturn have liquid oceans underneath the ice, where there's a very good chance that there are sea creatures.
Taken and Cabal fighting for the bridge. Wherever the brothers are.
Oh, can you imagine how many species are actually out there, guys? It blows my mind to think about it. And if you want to know if aliens have visited humans, they have. There's a documentary called, what's it called? Damn it. Undiscovered Truth, Unacknowledged Truth, or Unacknowledged... I think it's called Unacknowledged Truth, I think, by Dr. Stephen Greer. He was a medical physician who was actually called in to work on... He was just a doctor, but he had specialist fields in certain areas that made him valuable. The government called him in to work on an alien autopsy. I'm not joking. You couldn't believe it. He's worked with many presidents and CIA directors and all these secret organisations. He's worked with them to brief president on alien contact. There was a documentary released this year, but it was only released this year because of gag orders and all sorts of things. But basically, there were a panel of 20 people, ex-military, ex-special forces, ex-CIA, ex-FBI, NHS, not NHS, Homeland Security, sorry, NHS, National Health Service, Homeland Security, that have all worked on alien technology and been part of this conspiracy. Not only have they've got anti-gravity technology, they've got zero-point energy, which basically draws energy out of, a bit like a ZPM from Stargate Atlantis. It draws energy out of subspace, basically. I didn't think they would leave. So this device powers what you need it. This small device can power a car or the entire planet. It draws as much power as the device attached to it needs. And they've got this technology, it says. These people, all part of these secret organisations, came forward. Now don't get me wrong, 20 people don't sound like a lot. These are the only people that were willing to show their identity, because they were scared. A lot of people were scared for their health, their lives, and their families have been threatened. This guy has got round-the-clock ex-special forces protecting him. These guys are people that have worked on the projects that believe it's time that humans knew about alien contact. So these guys are on 24-hour watch of his family and him. Like ex-special forces, ex-Navy SEALs, all these amazingly trained people. They're kicking ass to protect him. Like, I'm not joking, like, they're really kicking ass. And these people have worked on this stuff as well. These people have worked on all these projects. But the 20 that came forward, they were the only 20 that were willing to do a live press conference. But there are over 400 that have gone on record, but they've remained anonymous. And 400 people that come forward. I mean, and they did a sweep of the event before they broadcast it, and the special ops found CIA operatives and special ops putting up signal jammers on the building and on the internet line, and they managed to catch a lot of it, but the internet was cut off for over an hour. But they still got millions of views. People came back, and you know they still got like 8 to 10 million views, if not more. I think might have been like closer to 30 million views. Every news network was there. But this was, the CIA actually has people working. The CIA's had a deal, a $600 million with the head of CNN, I think, or Fox News. I can't remember which, but many organisations. The people on the war desk, war correspondents, and all these people are actually CIA operatives. That their job is to quash certain information and make sure it doesn't see the light of day, and you know, downplay stories and all these things. That's their job. So a lot of the news anchors you see actually are just liars that work for the government. And in actual fact, Dr. Stephen Graham have seen, like, there's people on this documentary that have seen alien craft. Like, every time America has tried to put nukes into space, the aliens have stopped it. They've seen craft shoot laser beams, or what look like basically beams of light, at the device to disarm it. The aliens are not here to invade. They're concerned how aggressive we are as a species. And a lot of people say, look, they're not going to let us into the galactic community, or even leave the solar system until we refuse to weaponize it. They're not willing to let us weaponize space. But we have had many visitors, alien craft shot at. The amount of evidence out there is mind-blowing. Thousands of radar reports, sightings from people that work in military, Air Force pilots, that special ops that worked on the technology. Not only have we got alien technology captured or crashed, whatever you want to call it, but we've actually built our own. We've retro-engineered, we've reverse-engineered alien technology. So we actually have spacecraft that are capable of interstellar flight right now. Some that are available, some that we're going to say are human-made, and some that you might say are actually alien craft, because we don't have the technology to build like they build. Apparently, the theory is, the best theory is that they extract the energy from other dimensions to build their things whole. So they have a design for a ship, and it comes out of the other dimensions with the atoms already constituted. And it sounds fantastical, but this doctor said when they found some of the alien bodies in a crash site, there's 2 species they know about. Well, there's 2 species confirmed, but the government, I think this guy said the government are aware of 4 to 6 species that have visited Earth, but we've confirmed 2 that have actually crashed or been shut down or whatever. Yeah, it's fantastical, isn't it? It sounds fantastical. But this doctor basically said, look, these aliens were in sort of spacesuits or flight suits that had no seams and made from a metal that they couldn't cut, and they couldn't think how they got it on. And so the best scientists that were covering it basically theorised that the chances are that they probably design the schematic and then draw the atoms in another, they basically compile the atoms in another dimension and rematerialise it in our dimension. As needed, basically, so there's no need for seams or written. Another thing is that some people worry about, including, I think was it a guy who sort of Lock Martin, or Bodie, whatever it's called, Lock Martin, I think it was Bodie Lock Martin or something, it's called Lock Martin, I think, I don't know. But anyway, he knew about a conspiracy that's going to happen, and people have been saying it for years, but basically that the government's had alien technology, and the final attempt to control the human population will to be a false flag operation. What a false flag operation is, guys, is an operation that falsifies an event, or does a real event. So a terrorist attack, but in actual fact the government or a military responsible for the attack, they'll do these things, they'll kill innocent people to garner support for wars or for their cause, which makes people trillions of dollars of money and gets people in power. The final stage is the final false flag operation that many powerful people are aware about, that have done everything they can to stop, is a false flag operation of alien invasion. At some point, there's going to be apparently an alien fleet invading, but it's actually going to be reverse engineered human craft, or reverse engineered alien technology, staging as a real invasion, and this is to take final control of the population in a more martial or militaristic type event. Now this could still happen, but the fact that so many people are aware of it, so many people that were part of these projects have now changed their mind, is very dangerous for people. And there's one guy in the interview who he talked about many secrets. He was an insider, and he came forward and talked about many secrets. But the one thing he wouldn't talk about in any detail was the false flag operation of this alien invasion. He knew about it in great detail, but he said, look, it's just not a good idea for me to talk about it. And Dr. Stephen Gray, the guy who made the documentary, and the doctor who heads this alien research thing, who has actually made contact with them. And he made contact with them through a system he'd organised to make contact with extraterrestrials that might not speak our language. And he actually made contact with them. And the fucking government turned up and said, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Basically. Now, President Clinton is aware of these aliens' existences, and he wants it all out in the open. He wants it all out in the open. And he wasn't present anymore, but this Dr. Stephen Greer, when he was present, this Dr. Stephen Greer briefed him on alien activity, any projects involving alien technology, all these sort of different things. And once his presidency was finally finished, years later, he's like, look, I really want this stuff to come out. And basically this is the president's words to Dr. Stephen Greer. It was coming through his chief of staff, his ex-chief of staff, and Dr. Stephen Greer said to the guy, well, why don't the president just come forward? And basically this guy said, look, he's an important person, he's a lot of money, wealthy and powerful position. It's not a good idea for him to come forward with something like this. We don't want him to be assassinated. And Dr. Stephen Greer started laughing, thought he was joking, but it turned out no, he's dead serious. He's like, yeah, no, I'm not joking. He wants it all out in the open, but he's not willing to come forward and say any of this because he don't want, you know, apparently it's too important to people and to certain people that he's not willing to take that chance and be executed. So Dr. Stephen Greer said, well, I'll do it then. And he's like, yeah, okay. He goes, I'll do it because I'm expendable. And this guy says, yeah, okay. So, you know, it's just... the thing is that the government's done a very good way of hiding it. What they've done is they've created these conspiracy theories and all these things that actually exist. So when someone goes, oh no, another conspiracy theorist, a lot of these conspiracies actually have happened and do happen. So would you believe or not, the FBI and CIA, I think it was the FBI, kidnapped hundreds, if not thousands, of homeless people or citizens in the 60s and 70s during the, was it Ultra X program or whatever it's called? Basically to develop mind control and super soldiers. And they experimented on these people, sexually tortured them, beat them, sleep deprivation, experimental drugs, drug torture, all sorts of things, horrific things to them. And one of the, I think it was President Clinton, finally, when they acknowledged it, he apologised on behalf of the American people for the FBI's action. Now, you wouldn't think about it, would you? The FBI doing crazy things like that. Well, yeah, they did. The CIA have had... There's actually bases on Mars at the moment, and the CIA have known about it, and humans have been there for a while. And they brought in psychics, believe it or not, to do certain readings, and certain people have acknowledged that on Mars they've given coordinates to these bases on Mars, but they didn't know they were giving coordinates to bases. They gave coordinates and described landscapes, and it turns out they were describing certain landscapes on Mars, and they've described civilizations on other planets that are now extinct, including Mars. Now, I think there's probably a good chance that Mars at one point was habitable. We know this. Isn't there a good chance that if the race that lived on Mars was advanced enough that maybe at one point Mars was more suitable than Earth to live on? But now as time's gone by, Mars has become uninhabitable and Earth has become more habitable. So what if those people that were born on Mars were what we call humans, and actually they lived on an oxygen-rich environment, they developed billions of years before we did, and they emigrated to Earth once they knew the planet was becoming uninhabitable? It makes sense. You've got another viable planet. Maybe it was a dual colony, and people will be like, well, there'd be evidence of buildings and things, and there are bits of evidence of monoliths and structures that are not natural formations. There's even photographs by Mars rovers and things of what appear to be spoons and forks, believe it or not, on Mars. So yeah, there's a lot of... The government has basically done a good job of hiding the truth in open sight, in plain sight, by mixing it with lies, by developing complex conspiracy stories and putting out the evidence to support it, so that it can then disprove it later. There's all sorts of things gone off like that. So yeah, it's people go, yeah, conspiracy theories not job. No, guys, this shit really happens. It has happened. There are many things we don't know that happens that, is probably horrendous if we knew what was going on, what scientists were doing to prisoners or to other people. You'd probably be horrified. So yeah, don't dismiss it so much, guys. Honestly, this shit is no joke. It really isn't. I think there's a lot of bad shit going off. Really do. And at some point, this stuff will come out in the open. It has to. You know, there's no way you can keep this shit secret forever. I mean, look at all the people that the government trusted to work on all these alien technologies have now come forward and said, you know what? It's about goddamn time that people knew that we've had fucking renewable energy for over a century. You know, it's about time they knew this shit. And I agree. Now, yeah, like, I reckon a lot of people, the main reason I believe people are not being told about the existence of alien technology and terrestrials and that we've made contact is because the people in power want to stay in power. They don't want to release this technology for everybody. Secondly, I also believe that a lot of people think that human beings couldn't take the truth, and I agree. I think half the population wants this knowledge. They want to know we're not alone, but the other half believe we're the only species in the universe, which is mind-boggling. And so, you know, I think some people are worried about it doing irreparable damage to the stock markets, to people's psyche. But I don't agree. I honestly don't agree. I really don't. I think that every big social change, yeah, has come with a challenge. Blacks in the military, blacks serving in the military, everyone was against it. They'd saying it caused massive problems, the unit cohesion would be affected, morale, all this stuff. And it did a little bit, but guess what? People accepted it. People didn't think society could live without slavery, without free labour. Guess what? It's thrived. Yes, of course, it had caused some people to go crazy, lose their mind, lose the shit. Some people would deny it. Even if an alien being landed on the front garden and said, guess what, you're not alone. They wouldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it. The psyche couldn't handle it. You know, which is fine. Absolutely fine. But I'm here to say that human beings, I think we're weak in many, many ways, but I also think we have a strength that is it's indescribable. The strength we have is indescribable. And we have a type of strength that we seem to fight the odds no matter what. We seem to survive and thrive no matter what happens to us. We come out of it stronger for it, you know. And yeah, I think that's all I've really got to say on the matter, guys, is that aliens exist. There's a lot of proof out there, a lot of proof. This documentary is one of the main sources. It's phenomenal. Unacceptable truth, unacknowledged truth. It's called Unacknowledged Truth by Dr. Stephen Gray. Go watch it, guys. It is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. This stuff we record, a lot of this stuff we recorded over 10 years ago, but was on a federal gag order by the government not to be released, and a lot of people did a lot of things not to release this. This guy's made contact with alien species. He's worked on autopsies. Ex-government heads of CIA, ex-Special Ops, Navy SEALs, FBI, Homeland Security, all these powerful organisations, people have come forward and said, yes, I worked on alien technology, I've seen the bodies, we have advanced space technology, we have interstellar travel, we have all these things, and it's about time people know about it. We're destroying our planet. You know, I'm hoping that the alien species, they know we're destroying this planet. Of course they do. We know it. They're going to know it. And I really hope that they fucking just say, you know, enough is enough, guys. You guys are children. You don't, you know, we've been exploring the galaxy for millions, if not billions of years. Let us help you. I just hope that day comes. I really do. It will be phenomenal. One of the greatest events in humankind history ever. It'd be mind-blowing. Anyway, we'll call it there, guys. I'm sorry I've ranted on so much. I've talked about an array of issues. I'm sorry that I've had a go at the American people. I've not had a go at the people. Some people I have, but a lot of people that know me, that have heard my videos, know that I'm not a bad guy. I actually want the best. I want this planet to thrive. I want us to leave this planet and colonize other planets, because we're overdue, believe it or not. We're due for a super volcano, which will kill about 90% of life on Earth. We're a few tens of thousands of years overdue. We're due for another meteor strike. At some point, our solar system, as well as thousands. Think of our galaxy spinning on us. We're in one of the outer spiral arms. Like, we don't just go around perfectly. The entire galaxy moves at millions of miles an hour. These solar systems get pulled by gravitational forces, other galaxies, and at some point, thousands of solar systems. Like, think about us right in the middle of the arm, on our outer arm of our galaxy. So you see this arm of gas and mist, and so we're protected in there by a shit. There's a lot of cosmic radiation that we're protected from because of all that what we call cosmic dust, which is what gives galaxies the shape. It's all dust and debris. Thousands of solar systems are going to actually float, stay part of the galaxy, but they're going to float just above the protection of those arms. So they're going to be spinning around, but they're going to it rises up and down like on a roller coaster every few 100 million years. And in about 200 million years, we're going to rise, our solar system as well as thousands of others are going to just drift above that arm that we're in, and we're going to dip back down. But when we drift above it, we're going to be exposed to so much background radiation from the Big Bang, it's going to just absolutely rip us a new one. It's going to wipe out basic life in thousands of star systems, which is crazy. So get thinking, guys, do something good. Anyway, thank you so much. Hope I've not offended many people. I hope you enjoyed the rant. A lot of interesting, important issues, I personally think. If you've got any comments about any of it, please feel free to let me know. Feel free to share the video, discuss these issues with your friends and family. Come on, America, you used to be awesome. Let's get you back there, guys. There's a lot of people want it, and you've got it in you. I know you do. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you all on the next one. So cheers.